you for joining us. My name is London Brown, and I am the Customer Marketing Manager here at Sonar. And today we're going to take a deep dive into the latest SonarQube Server 2026.1 LTA release. Before we dive in, a few quick housekeeping points. This session will last 45 minutes and will include a live Q&A at the end. Please submit your questions throughout the session via the Q&A tab. Roberto Lizardo from the Customer Success team is available to answer your questions in the chat throughout the session. Feel free to upvote the questions that you would like to see most addressed live. This session is also being recorded, and we'll email you a link to the recording in the next few days. And lastly, we'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to complete the short survey that's available throughout the presentation in your navigation bar or via the follow-up email that you'll receive. Your feedback is really important to us. And now let's go ahead and introduce today's presenter, Robert Curley. Robert is a software product marketing manager leader with 20 years of experience working in the enterprise IT services management, IT operations, storage, and security markets. Having started his career in software engineering, he currently serves as a technical product marketing manager at Sonar, where he runs the go-to-market planning for SonarQube. Robert, the floor is yours.
Thanks, London. Hey, everyone. I'm glad that you're here, and welcome back if you've been to our webinars in the past, and welcome if this is your first webinar. Today we're going to talk about the SonarQube Server, the latest release, the 2026.1 LTA, and basically we're going to go through everything that we've packed into SonarQube Server in the last year, because most people will be upgrading from LTA to LTA. And so you'd like to see, I presume you're here because you'd like to see what you're going to get when you update to the latest LTA. So we're going to go through these sections. We're going to talk about how the SonarQube Server is now ready for the AI and agentic SDLC. We're going to talk about the code security capability in it, the code quality, compliance, a lot of compliance stuff we have, of course, all of our awesome language coverage. And then we're going to finish out with some of the cool DevOps integrations that we built into it this year. Okay, so let's get started. All right, this is big. The world is moving. I've been in software engineering for a long time, since I was a kid, since I can remember. Yeah, the internet and everything that changed with the internet and how we changed computing and working with each other was a huge change. But this AI stuff is really moving things faster than I've ever seen before. What we knew 6 months ago has totally changed. What we knew a year ago has totally changed. And so Sonar is moving at the pace of AR, and SonarQube is moving to where developers are moving and developers are working. And so we've got some great capability in SonarQube that supports this movement, this motion of how are developers using AI and AI tools to build code. First of all, we have AI code fix. So we have AI capability built into SonarQube Server. That's not something very new, but what is new is some of the stuff that we're doing with it, like bring your own LLM. And you don't have to use the LLM that we provide anymore. Now you can bring along your own LLM. If you're using Azure OpenAI, you can use that as your LLM if that's what you need because of corporate constraints or what have you. We've done a lot of expansion of rules coverage. What's kind of special about AI code fix for us is that we're basically building customized prompts for your issues that SonarQube finds. So when SonarQube finds an issue, we build this very specialized prompt that gives us very, very good, very high value results. And so we're expanding on those and all the rules that we cover and all the issues that we find. And then what's really cool now is that AI code fix is built into SonarQube for IDE. So as you're in your IDE, we'll get you those AI code fix results instantly within the IDE. So some really powerful, cool stuff happening with AI code fix and these automated coded suggestions from LLMs. The second really exciting thing here that I'm going to go into a little bit of a demo on is the MCP server. So this really helps with when you're using AI agents or when you're an AI native IDE to integrate through our MCP server with SonarQube, your SonarQube server, and be able to do natural language queries to get results, to ask, hey, is this code segment, high quality, or are there any vulnerabilities? You can ask it. I'll show you like an example of some code status and quality gate status. So there's a lot you can do to use now natural language within your context of where you're working, whether it's an AI native IDE or whether you're using other agents to complete things, to be able to get SonarQube's results directly to you where you're working in these cool AI tools. And then lastly, we have actual AI native IDE integrations. So inside Claude Code, Cursor, Gemini, CLI, Windsurf, Tray, there's a bunch that we have direct AI native IDE integrations for SonarQube Server. So a lot of really cool stuff there. And let me show you. Okay, I am going to go into a project. I have to switch presenting here. So I'm going to stop presenting here. And where did the presenter button go? Okay. Lost the present button. Huh. Well, that's not good. Sorry about that. Should be presenting now. Good. Okay. Sorry, technical issue there. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, what are we looking at? We are looking at a demo project of mine. It's a deeper SaaS demo project, and nothing really that interesting here. I am going to talk about this failed quality gate later in another part of a demo. But what I want to show you here is I want to go into one of the issues and I just show you the issue. So this issue is an open issue. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want to show you in SonarQube Server the current status of that. So let's see. How do I switch presenting? There we go. Let's go to Cursor. Okay, so this is the same project in Cursor. So you can see the deeper SaaS demo here. And I'm looking at one of the files here. And what I can do is I can now ask, what are the issues in this file that were found by Sonar? So you can see it's thinking here. It's querying Sonar. And by the way, I kind of lost track of where I is. I should show you that if I look in Cursor settings, here's my SonarQube MCP server connected. It's running in a Docker container by Cursor, and it's connected up to my SonarQube server instance that I just showed you. And so now I've queried it, and it's telling me now, here, look, it found all these issues. And here's that one I showed you. This is Java S131 rule, issue number 3, and it's critical, and it is in an open state. And you can see the name of it is add a default case to the switch. So that's what I just showed you. So what I can do now and it was in an open state before. What I can do now is say change issue number 3 to accepted. Let's say on line 87 to accepted in Sonar. Okay, now it's communicating to the MCP server. There, now it says it's been switched to accepted. So I just, in my, cursor IDE, I'm communicating with the MCP server. I can show you now if I go back to my SonarQube server instance just to show you the results, and I wouldn't have to do this. And I refresh. You can see it switched from open to accepted state. So that's an example of what I can do. Let me go back to the cursor again, and I can do other cool stuff like what is the status of the quality gate Sonar for this project? So again, it's querying the MCP server, and there it goes. It's telling me, hey, it's failed. Why has it failed? And I can even say things like get into more details, ask it why. I could even get into, like the issues and ask like, why are those issues? How do I fix those issues? So there's a lot of cool stuff that I can do now embedded within these AI native IDEs by talking to my SonarQube server instance and asking it to tell me information about what's happening on my project. So that's pretty amazing. That's what I mean by we're moving SonarQube server to where developers are working in these new IDEs. All right, let's get back to our presentation. So that's our first demo. Okay, let's move on to code security. We've got a lot of really great stuff with code security. We've got our core security capabilities. So we have secrets detection improvements. We now cover over 450 patterns, over 60 cloud services. We cover custom secrets. We added secrets detection in YAML, JSON, CLI, Swift, Kotlin. So there's a lot of stuff happening with our secrets detection that puts us really at the forefront of secrets detection for security. We've added SAST support for new languages, Swift, Kotlin, Go, VBNet, Dart, and we've added new rules for detecting LLM issues, specific, path and prompt injection in Java and Python. So that's very new, where there's dangerous things that LLMs are returning when you are getting code suggestions, and those things we're detecting those and making sure they don't end up in your code bases. And then we've added new taint analysis for JavaScript, TypeScript, .NET, WPF framework. So a lot of new cool stuff there. And if you haven't heard much about advanced security, I'd be surprised. We're talking a lot about advanced security. So we've got this new add-on product called Advanced Security, and it gives you SCA support. And that SCA supports Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, C#, CC++. Conan and VC package is new, so we just added that in recently. And then we've recently added Go, Rust, Ruby, and PHP to SCA support and advanced security. We now have updated our advanced SaaS library coverage. So we've refreshed Java and C# top 1000. And then we added the top 100 libraries in Python. And so what that is we're pre-analyzing those libraries, those public libraries, and making sure that you're not using those libraries in a way that is harmful in terms of your data your data flow through them. So it's a deeper kind of SAST analysis that analyzes not only your code, but also the code that you're leveraging in these third-party libraries, these top third-party libraries. We've added malicious package detection to advanced security, and we now have SBOM import of Cyclone DX and SPDX types. So we're doing a lot with advanced security. It's a really powerful security capability that we've added. And if you haven't updated to the latest LTA, and you're on specifically like a older LTA, older than the 2025.4. So if you're on 2025.1 or earlier LTAs, then this is a new add-on that you can purchase and get some really powerful stuff. And the last little bit here is what we've added is inside SonarQube for IDE, you can see the results of these dependency risks when you have advanced security and you've connected the SonarQube for IDE up with your SonarQube server instance. Now you can see those dependency risks right in the IDE as you code. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, let's get to a poll. I think it's going to take a few seconds for the poll to come up. Yep, it looks like it's there. So tell us what version of SonarQube Server you're currently using. I'll give people a few minutes to answer. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's talk about code quality. We've done a lot with code quality over the last year, and not just in these languages, but some really good highlights here to talk about. In Python, our analysis is faster than ever. We've improved our accuracy for Python, and we've added a lot of new rules for maintainability and performant code. So your Python code can be production ready using SonarQube's analysis. With Java, again, more maintainable, more performant code. We've got a new bug finding engine that finds these very complex database or data-based bugs. So that's kind of new and powerful, and it's a new way to analyze code that we've added. And so there's a lot of improvements there that helps a lot with our accuracy and our improvements in being able to find the right kind of issues that are real, that are not false positives. So that helps with our false positive rate. And then we've added a bunch of new capability for Spring to avoid pitfalls in using the Spring framework. For JavaScript and TypeScript, again here, faster analysis. We're up to 40% faster analysis. We can find more issues than ever before, that it's more accurate. And we've added Angular and accessibility rules for CSS. I'll talk about that. In the compliance section about what we've done for accessibility. For Go, we've can find over 40 new types of code quality rules in Go, and definitely about helping Go developers build the cloud native code. And for Kotlin, we're 50% faster with Kotlin. We support the new Kotlin 2 and K2 compiler. So that's exciting. We're keeping up with Kotlin developers. And then for remediation inside SonarQube for IDE, we have 80 new quick fixes. These are ways that you can quickly fix an issue. If we've got a solution for it, then we can click of a button and it'll fix your issue in SonarQube for IDE. So, and that's in JavaScript and TypeScript. So that's really exciting that you can quickly fix your problems in SonarQube for IDE in JavaScript and TypeScript. Okay, and last up, we've got a new issue sandbox. An issue sandbox is when you've updated from one version of SonarQube Server to another, the rules will change, right? I just talked about just for code quality and code security, we'll have a lot of changes in the rules. We'll update rules, we'll add rules. So one of the challenges that our customers have is during update that all of a sudden their quality gates change, right? You perform a new analysis, your quality gates change, and all of a sudden your quality gates that were passing now are failing because of the new rules. Well, we fixed that. And when you update, you'll see this alert that says, hey, go turn on issue sandboxing. And what will happen is when your first analysis happens, instead of those issues affecting your quality gate, they'll be dropped into a sandbox where you can then triage them separately and decide at your own pace how to handle those so they don't impact your quality gate. And to show you what that looks like, I've got another demo here. Okay, here's another project that I've run. And so basically I ran an analysis on this project in the last LTA, the 2025.1 LTA or a previous LTA. And then I upgraded it to the latest SonarQube Server 2026.1 LTA, and then turned on that sandbox from that prompt you saw, and then ran another analysis. And you'll see here that at the bottom here is these issues that have been sandboxed. So now you'll see that those normally would have caused my quality gate, this quality gate, to go from passed before to failed, but it didn't do that. Instead, it said, okay, I put all these issues in the sandbox, and now I can drill down into those issues, and you can see that, well, I don't know what's happening. Yep. Well, something happened. Well, that's another live demo issue. Well, I'm going to skip this, but what you would see is the status of that issue would not be open. It would be in sandbox state, and then you can manually switch it to open if you want to, or accept it, or you can, handle exactly what state it goes into without immediately impacting your quality gate on update. Okay, so that's the issue sandbox. Let's move on. Oh, that was my demo. Okay. Compliance. We've done a lot with compliance. There's a lot to talk about. I think one of the really exciting things here is we've completed our full coverage of MISRA C++ 2023. A lot of customers were asking for this, so this helps with safety and mission critical systems to make sure that the code, that the C++ 17 code that they write is production ready for those kind of systems like embedded platforms and things like that, where they have to be as incredibly stable. Medical devices, for example, auto, obviously it comes from the auto, well, obviously, but if you don't know this, it comes from the auto industry. So MISRA C++ or MISRA in general is used by quite a lot of mission critical industries. So we now cover 100% of all 179 guidelines in C++ 2023. We have a new quality profile for MISRA. So if you're using it, you can use this very strong quality profile. And then we also, again, here for SonarQube for IDE in VS Code, Visual Studio, IntelliJ CLine, when you connect to your SonarQube server instance, we'll start to show you, or we'll show you those issues as they come up that don't match MISRA C++ 23, so you can resolve them earlier and earlier in your development lifecycle. So a lot of really cool stuff happening with that. And then a lot of cool new security ports. So we now support OWASP Top 10 for LLMs. We support OWASP MAS-VS. We support OWASP Top 10 2025. We support OWASP Mobile Top 10. Tons of them. CWE Top 25 2024. the latest version of STIG, and then WCAG I mentioned. We now cover 2.1 AA and 2.2 AA levels of WCAG for your accessibility to help customers, help you guys become compliant with those accessibility needs when that's important to you. And then we've actually enhanced the security and regulatory downloadable PDFs. So they're much more clear, give you great information and help you with that attestation of compliance with these security and the MISRA compliance. So a lot of great stuff happening with compliance. Okay, let's run another poll. See how that poll comes up. Okay, if you haven't updated yet, when do you plan on updating? Again, we'll give it a little time for you guys to answer. Okay, let's move on. Okay, languages. There's so much to talk about. I wish I could talk about everything, but in the time that we have, I can't talk about everything. But let's talk about the new languages. We've added Rust support, YAML, JSON, Bash and Shell, and now GitHub Actions. We can analyze GitHub's actions to make sure that there's no misconfigurations in your GitHub Actions. So pretty cool stuff happening there. We are also actively working on supporting all the AI ML frameworks that are popular and being used. PySpark, PyTorch. We can analyze Jupyter Notebooks and PyCharm, which is pretty incredible. My understanding is that this is something that's not very easy because, in your Jupyter Notebook, you're mixing code segments with data. And so you want to only analyze the code segments. And so we've done a lot of really cool work there to make sure that your code segments in your Jupyter Notebooks are production ready and don't have to be totally reworked when you're ready to move from experimenting to running in production. So a lot of cool stuff there. We've been keeping up to date with the latest versions of all the big languages. So we now support Java through Java 24. We support Python 3.14, the latest TypeScript, Golang, Swift all the way up to 6.2. I mentioned before Kotlin 2, that's new. The latest .NET 10 and C# 14 and Dart 3.8. And then on the bottom right, I could list out all the rules or whatever, talk about all the rules, but dozens and dozens of new rules and being able to find new issues in Python and JavaScript, TypeScript, C, C#, Go, VBNet, Swift, Apex, Ruby on Rails. So tons and tons of movement in being able to support more languages and the languages and the libraries that you guys need. All right, let's get through our last poll. So what are you guys most excited about? And then the last one I haven't even talked about yet. So if you're excited about the DevOps integrations with Cloud, Slack, and JFrog, well, I'm going to show you how they work. Okay, let's move on. So here we have it. The last bit here that I want to talk about are our DevOps integration. So again, we're really focused on moving to where you want to work and where you do work, so that you can focus on the area, the tools that you need. So in Jira Cloud, we now integrated with Jira Cloud. So when SonarQube finds an issue, it'll auto-generate a Jira ticket for you, so that can go into your backlog in Jira. We have Slack integrations. A lot of companies, ourselves included, use Slack to communicate, and now teams can get automatic updates in Slack channels about the status of their quality gates. And then with JFrog, we are integrated with JFrog to be able to generate evidence so that all the analysis that is performed can help you with your attestation in JFrog. And so a lot of really cool stuff there. And let me show you an example. So I'm going to go back to that project that I was showing before with the failed quality gate. This one here. So, and the reason why I want to show you this is because I forced it to fail the quality gate by adding a new token. Like I added a hard-coded token in, so I forced it to fail. It's this one. So I hard-coded a token in there, and it said, "Oh, you can't do that. You know, that's a secret. So you shouldn't be putting hard-coded tokens in your project." Yeah, I knew that, but I did it on purpose to show this. Here is my special channel that I set up in Slack, and I integrated it with SonarQube Server. And you can see here yesterday when I added that bit of code and performed the analysis, then it reported to me in my Slack channel, hey, your quality gate changed and it's failed and it was previously passed. And here's the project. And then you can go in and see the details of that. By clicking that, it'll launch. I don't have it wired up that way, but it'll launch you back into SonarQube Server to see that issue and the reason why the quality gate failed. So that's pretty cool, right? I think that's shows you that we're really talking about, making sure that SonarQube Server is helping you where you work on a regular basis and embedding in your regular workflows. So let's get back to the slides. And I'm almost done here. I want to talk about one more last thing. And that is, if you didn't know, you can migrate to SonarQube Cloud. So if your company is moving to a cloud, pushing towards moving to the cloud, then now's a better time than ever. You don't have to handle managing the infrastructure anymore. You don't have to take the time to perform these updates. You won't have to operate the server. So the cloud is a great option for you. If you don't have specific requirements to manage your server yourself, so unless you have something like you need to be air gapped or something like that, the cloud is really a cool option. You get the immediate access to the latest and greatest stuff that we have to offer, and you'll always be on because it's a full SaaS solution, and you can now focus on shipping instead of focus on operating the platform and managing infrastructure. And why this is a really great time is, if you think about it, if you spend the time to do this migration, if you're a cloud forward company or moving to a cloud forward company, then that's the last update you'll ever have to do, right? You can migrate to the cloud, and now you're operating it for you and keeping you up and running, and you're getting the latest immediately. So all the great things that you know and love about SonarQube Server Enterprise Edition are in SonarQube Cloud Enterprise. So now like I said at the top here, it's a great time to consider migration. Okay, and I think that's it. I think we've got a little plug for Sonar Summit. Is that something you're going to talk about, London? Did London come on? Well, we have Sonar Summits coming up. So on March 3rd, we have a lot of great people coming in and talking. We have guest talkers, guest speakers. We have our own CEO talking about the great stuff we have here at Sonar. So if you haven't registered, register. It's a virtual event, and so you can register and participate and find out all the great stuff happening here at Sonar. And it'll give you a good view into not just where we've come, which is what I've been talking about today, but where the future is and how we think about the future and where we're going. So join it and come in and check it out. Okay, now we've got our Q&A session.
All right. Thanks, Robert. So we had a bunch of questions here. Thank you so much for everyone who submitted questions. I tried my best to respond to some of those here as Robert was presenting, but we still have a few that we can cover. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So I don't understand this one here. So can you show the sandbox prompt on SonarQube 2026.1 LTA? So if you're asking if the feature is there in 2026.1, yes, the feature is present in 2026.1. So
yeah, what will happen basically is as soon as you update the server and you sign back in as admin, you'll get that screen that I showed in the slide that I was showing. I did a screen capture of that screen, and it'll say, hey, there's this new sandbox feature. Do you want to turn it on? And we recommend you turn it on. Yes, I want to turn it on, and then it'll drop you into the admin section where you configure the sandbox. And you go and configure your sandbox, then you perform your next analysis, and now those new issues that are found because of the rule changes will go into the sandbox instead of become open issues.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have a few here. A few people are asking about support for Microsoft Teams as an integration. Any plans to add support for that?
Teams. I believe it's been asked for, and it's something that we're looking at. I don't know where it is in our roadmap right now, but yeah, it's definitely something that we've heard and we're investigating. So these first three integrations, JFrog and Jira and Slack, were the three biggest ones that were asked. And so yeah, we're looking at now the next couple of really good integrations, and Teams is definitely on our radar.
Okay. The next one here. So how about an official Terraform provider for configure as code? Any plans to add support for Terraform? I think I actually know the answer to that one. It's a common ask. So we hear that a lot. So it's something that we are planning to provide, customers with Terraform providers for deploying in the cloud. We are able to scan Terraform files. That's something that we support. But if the question is specifically around us providing the Terraform, recipes there for deployment, that's something that it is in the roadmap, and we should have those soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Is I think one of the important parts is to make sure that Terraform code is high quality and doesn't have any misconfigurations in it, right? So we do analyze that.
Yeah. Okay. So another question here, Sonar supports GitHub Actions now. Do you plan to support GitLab CI as well?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I believe, I haven't seen in the roadmap too, but I believe that it's not just natural that we're going to end up adding support for that in the future, because we do believe that it's more common, as we are creating rules for GitHub Actions. There are issues and certain vulnerabilities that can be introduced on pipelines. So I would expect us to have a support for GitLab CI in the near future, for sure.
Yep, I agree. I know that this is another thing that's on our within our radar that we know is an ask, and we focused on GitHub because it's the most popular, but GitLab is a a big number 2, and still a lot of interest in GitLab. So we're definitely keeping our eye on that.
Yeah. So there's another question here about Groovy was supported in 2025.1 and removed in later versions. What's the reason?
We're revamping Groovy completely, and we have since re-released Groovy. It's in SonarQube Cloud, right, as it is, and it's going to come back. So that's another thing about migrating to the cloud or considering migrating to the cloud, is you get those things earlier. And it's also kind of a little, kind of a secret. You can keep an eye on what's happening with SonarQube Cloud, and you'll know that's what's going to come to SonarQube Server. Like the architecture capability is available in as a beta in SonarQube Cloud right now, and that's a pretty good indicator that it'll be coming to server pretty soon. So
Yeah.
Groovy is coming.
Cool.
Very soon.
Thank you. JFrog, SaaS or on-prem? So JFrog, SaaS or on-prem? I guess you're referring to the integration with JFrog. Yeah.
I think it works with both.
I believe it works from both too. Yeah. So I think it should work for both. It's essentially an API call that needs to be made there. So it's actually part of the JFrog pipelines as well for CI. So yeah, it should work for both. Yes. Do we need, or next question here, do we need that sandbox enabled all the time? Or is it only during upgrades that needs to be enabled and disabled once the upgrade is done?
So the sandboxing, that's an interesting question. And I thought about that, like, oh, is this going to always sandbox all new issues? You can leave it on all the time. It only sandboxes issues found when you do a version update. So when you update from version, this is 2026.1. When you update from 26.1 to 2026.2, then those new issues that are found will sandbox. So it doesn't sandbox all your issues. Like if you are running analysis ongoing, it won't sandbox those issues. It'll only sandbox issues found between version updates. So I like the question, and you can leave it on all the time. You don't have to enable it, disable it, enable it, disable it.
Yeah, cool. Makes sense. Next question, will there be support for PowerShell? PowerShell.
I don't know. I have not seen PowerShell in the backlog, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. Doesn't seem to be a popular request, but yeah, and that's not to say that we may not. We are constantly revisiting the list of supported languages, and so we even have. There's a way. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with, but you can vote for features as well. We have a public roadmap on our website there. So if you believe that something it's of an interest, if you feel like it's going to help you, you can go there and upvote or request a new feature, and we're constantly looking at those as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good thing to mention in communities. The more active you are in the community and the more you're asking about things, that'll help drive our roadmap.
Yeah. Okay, this one is about I'm not able to select multiple features for the last poll. That's okay. Let's see here. Are plans on integration with pre-commit? I would assume pre-commit hooks.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that you can wire it up to do that. You're talking about in the IDE being able to analyze pre-commit. Yeah, I believe you can do that now. You can set a way to block commits to make sure that you pre-analyze before every commit.
Yes, that's something that was recently launched. So we do have a CLI tool actually that allow you to block the commits. So yes, it's available. And if you search, I believe if you search, there's a GitHub project for this tool. So it's something that we released, I believe, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. I just want to know if SonarQube is preparing for quantum ready, like every other organization. We're planning ahead for post-quantum security. I know the answer to that one,
Okay.
Robert. So yes, that's it's typical. It's been more common these days. I've heard from at least 2 other customers where they are getting ready for this. I know there are some mandates from the U.S. government. I believe that the applications need to be ready for PQR, I believe, or PKR, PQR. So all the applications are getting ready for this, and it's the same for us. So we're still looking at what this would entail for us. But yes, it's being discussed internally. So I really don't have a clear roadmap as to when we're going to provide full support, but it's definitely something that's being investigated at the moment. Okay. Terraform used to automate to configure the system itself, quality gates, etc. So not scanning Terraform code. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So that's something that we're also evaluating the possibility of having Terraform there so that you can configure and automate the deployment of SonarQube. So
Okay, I think we should wrap it up. We're a little bit over what we said we would finish at. I think we were supposed to finish at at 45. So I'm sorry if we didn't get to all of your questions, everyone. But like I said about community, it's a great place to go to community. Ask your questions there. Your question may have already been asked. You may already find the answer in our community. It's a great resource. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the next webinar. So thanks a lot for attending. Bye.
Thank you.